Hey everyone, this is an Old Guy Gaming, and it is my distinct pleasure to announce to you that I'm not dead yet. I may be old, but I'm still alive and kicking. That's right, I'm still vertical, I'm still breathing, and my wife still thinks I'm too sexy for my shirt. So all in all, I'm having a pretty good day. Alright, so welcome to my 7 Days to Die, hard as hell, insane, zombies always run, drop on death, single player series. Whew, that was a mouthful. So what we're going to do in this series is we're going to play this game on some of the hardest settings that the game has to offer. The reason I'm doing this is because I have quite a bit of experience with this game, and I love the game. It's one of my most favorite games to play, but the problem is that, you know, once I start getting into in-game, I get bored with it because I feel like I've conquered the game. So what we're going to do is we're going to take advantage of the changes that the Fun Pimps, the developers, have made to Alpha 16, which basically revolves around what's called the stages, or the game stages. The very short version of that is that the more advanced I become, the harder the game becomes for me. It starts throwing more zombies at me, harder zombies at me, those sorts of things. Coupled with the fact that we're going to use the hardest difficulty setting. The zombies are always going to run whether it's day or night, and I'm hoping that all of those things together will basically, you know, keep even the end game interesting for myself, and I hope that all of you also enjoy watching me as we try and work our way to the end game on these very difficult settings. So before we get started, let me just go into the profiles, and I'll show you an old guy, because an old guy is our character, and that's what he looks like, and he is all rocking and ready to go. So let's go ahead and connect to the server, and as soon as I'm in, I will be right back. Alright, here we go, guys. Hard as hell, insane difficulty, zombies always run. They're also set to feral. I lose everything when I die, and this is going to be a challenge. I've played the game a little bit for a few hours on these settings just to kind of see what it was like, and it was not easy. Fun, but not easy. So hopefully we will be successful at this. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm sure I'm going to die several times, but that's part of the game. But one of the things I will definitely be doing in the very beginning stages of the game is trying to avoid the zombies as much as possible. Alright, so here we are. And we're going to start with the beginning quest. This is going to get us a skill point. So the first thing it wants us to do is gather fiber. One of the things that the game does is that when you first log in, it gives you a little bit of a grace period before it spawns the zombies in. And so I'm going to take advantage of that and try and get these quests done and get that first skill point, which I'm going to put into Sexual Tyrannosaurus. That's going to allow me to regenerate my stamina faster. I'm going to assume that not everybody that's going to watch these videos is familiar with this game. Some of you will probably be new. And so I will take some of the time and explain what I'm doing. This isn't a tutorial series, so I'm not going to do a lot of that sort of thing, but I will, you know, try and explain some basic things for people who are new, just so you understand kind of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, the rationale behind it, those sorts of things. And for those of you who are veteran players, maybe some of my methods will be useful to you as well. Alright, so I'm going to pick the bedroll back up, and the bedroll, when you set it down, again, for those of you who are new players, what it does is it sets your spawn point. So if you die, you spawn back at wherever your bed was. If you don't do that, then what will happen is that when you die, you'll spawn in a random location. And that's generally not something that we want to have happen. Okay, next they want us to make a stone axe. So we got to get some wood, and we'll just sit here and punch a bush, or a shrub rather, dead tree, whatever you want to call it. There are bushes around sometimes that you can pick up quick wood with, but I don't see those in my immediate vicinity, so we'll just go with that. Okay, now it wants us to do stone. So we need to find 4 small stones. We can pick those up straight off the ground. They're usually not too hard to find. There's a bird's nest. In this 7 Days to Die world, birds build their nests on the ground, just so you know. I know, it's a little weird, but it's the way the game works. Birds' nests give us both feathers for arrows and eggs for food, so they're definitely something that we want to be looting when we see them. Okay, we need a couple more stones. Let's see. I could punch that big rock right there to get stone. That would work too, but it's kind of hard on the knuckles. Not really, it doesn't really do anything. And tree stumps. Okay. Tree stumps can sometimes have some pretty good stuff in them, especially like food, but that particular one did not. Let's craft our axe. Oh, what am I missing? I still need 1 more stone. I thought I had 4. I guess not. Okay, we'll look for that other stone. There we go. Now we can craft the axe. The stone axe in the game is your multi-purpose tool. And you'll use that early on until you can replace it with more specific implements for whatever the job happens to be. Now it wants me to create or craft some clothes. Let's go ahead and do that. Looks like I have all the fiber I need to do so. And let's see, what else do we need? We need shoes. There we go. And then we'll also put these on. Clothes are important in the game for all the obvious reasons, including temperature. This game is definitely a game where temperature matters. And so if we're in the snow biome, we'll get cold. If we're in the desert biome, we'll get hot, and various biomes in between those can have extreme temperatures as well. So we need the clothes both for armor and for temperature control. We put the clothes on. Let's go ahead and chop a little wood. We'll finish out this tree and then we'll make our club. Club is your basic melee weapon. As soon as possible, we will upgrade to an iron reinforced club, and then later in the game, I will probably use a machete and or a spike club. Both of those are very good melee weapons. More stone. Okay, we're just gonna get some stone from this rock here. And now it wants us to craft a bow. Start off with a regular bow. Later on in the game, we'll craft crossbows. There's also now compound bows that they introduced with Alpha 16, and they're pretty cool, but I still prefer a crossbow. However, if we do find a compound bow early on before we can make a crossbow, we'll certainly use it, because it's just a little bit better than the normal bow. You know, assuming that the quality is the same between the two. And some iron arrowheads, those will come in handy. Alright, what's next? Craft arrows. So what I'm going to do is craft a couple arrows for the quest. And then because I found those iron arrowheads, I'm going to actually craft iron arrowheads. And we'll finish those off once we find some more feathers. Which we just did right there. So let's get more iron arrows. They'll do a little bit more damage than just the normal arrows will. Now it wants us to do some wood frames, so let's do that next. Good, good. Okay, we'll set these down, and then we will upgrade them. The game's basically just teaching you how to do some very basic building. When I right-click on something with the stone axe, I repair it or build it. Excuse me, when I left-click on it, I destroy. Next, it wants us to do a campfire. We probably don't have enough stone for that. No, we don't, so we need to go find some stone, or harvest some stone. Once the campfire is built, then we will be finished with the starter quest, and we'll be able to put our first point into Sexual Tyrannosaurus to get that stamina. very shortly after that, the zombies are going to start spawning, and then we're going to have to really be careful. And we'll set the campfire down. I'll just put it down on top of these guys. Good. And now it's telling me I have enough for skill point. So what we're going to do is go into the skills menu to health and fitness and put that point into sexual tyrannosaurus. Notice what it does is that in stage 1 it gives me a 10% stamina gain. So my stamina replenishes 10% faster. Now, stamina in this game is absolutely huge. It's very, very important because if you run out of stamina, especially if you're playing on these settings, it's pretty much a death sentence. Everything you do, or most everything you do anyways, requires stamina. And the blue bar that you see down in the lower left-hand corner of my screen is my total stamina. And you'll notice that it's going down as I'm doing some activity, whether it's breaking these blocks, running, or whatnot. So obviously, if I have zombies running after me and I run out of stamina, I can't run anymore. And then that means that I either fight them or they kill me. This early in the game, it probably means they'll kill me, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. We're definitely going to try to fight them if we have to. But, like I said, I'm going to also try and avoid them as much as possible. I'm not going to be going and looking for fights because of just how dangerous it is this early in the game. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to... Let's get our bow equipped and tell it to use iron arrows, so that way we'll have a little bit more punch with our arrows the first time we have to use the bow. Now, what I want to do is I want to just practice, or not practice, I'm sorry. I want to focus on getting as much wood as I can. Because then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some wood spikes. And the wood spikes, we have got to get some stone. The wood spikes are going to also help me try and get away from zombies. So if zombies chase me, I can throw the wood spikes down, and hopefully they'll get caught up on them. And if I'm really lucky, they'll actually break their legs. Once their leg's broken, then they turn into crawlers, and they're no longer a threat. At least they can't run anymore. Actually, before I start chopping a whole mess of wood, we should get some more stone too. I'd like to find a boulder. These are, I guess we'll call them big rocks, but there's also smaller boulders in the game. And the boulders actually give you a pretty good amount of resources. We'll pick these rocks up as well. So you'll notice in my lower right-hand corner that I'm getting a variety of different resources from this boulder. I'm getting iron, coal, a little bit of lead, and then of course stone as well. So it's definitely worthwhile to break these boulders up. And because, I'm brand new to the game and I got this really low quality stone axe, it takes quite a while to break them, but later on, when we get high quality picks and an auger, we'll be able to basically one-shot these things and get a whole lot of good materials from them. Right, I'm going to stop and rest for a minute just to make sure that my stamina gets back up. Because, like I said, any time now we're going to start seeing zombies. And I do not want to be out of stamina when that happens. When you're waiting for your stamina to get back up, if you walk, if you don't sprint, if you just walk, you can continue to pick up resources while your stamina replenishes. You'll notice too that the game now wants me to go to the settlement, and so we're going to actually start working our way towards there. The settlement will have a trader that later on we'll be able to buy and sell with. So I'll be getting a lot of items in this game that I don't really need. In some cases, depending upon the item and where I am and how much inventory I have and so forth, I'll scrap a lot of that stuff, but some things are worth hanging on to and selling to the vendor. And then the vendor's going to be able to provide items for me that I'm going to need that I might not have yet found, you know, through looting. Okay, so the vendor is to the west of us. Let's go ahead and start working our way there. And we'll just continue to gather resources, plant fiber, that sort of thing, as we work our way towards the vendor. I'm going to stand up. I don't see any zombies yet, so let's get some wood spikes going. And I'm going to put those on my hotbar, so that if we get chased, I can quickly lay them down. We can one-shot these smaller dead shrubs, so we'll just hit those as we move forward to continue to collect wood. Hit the bird's nests. Continue to gather resources. Okay, so we're going to scrap this axe and make another one. Now, you can repair tools in the game, but early on, you're better off just scrapping it and remaking it for a couple of reasons. One, you will increase your skill points or your XP by making a new one, and two, early on in the game, until you get the right skills, when you repair something, you lose a lot of quality in the process. So it just makes more sense to me anyways to just remake the item instead of repair it. Now once we get into much higher quality tools and weapons and so forth, and I have the skill, I think it's called the fixer. Oh, look at that, gun parts. Then it will be more worthwhile to start repairing, but for now we'll just remake tools when we run out of them, or when they wear down. Pick up some goldenrod and some cotton. Goldenrod's very useful for making goldenrod tea, and that will allow us to, it'll give us more hydration than water. It'll increase our wellness, which is our health and stamina cap, and it will cure dysentery if we happen to contract dysentery from drinking bad water, which sometimes you have to do because you're dying of thirst and there's nothing else around. Alright, are we still clear? Still clear. I don't see any zombies yet. So let's go ahead and head on into the trader. And now we have finished that final quest.
All prices are fair here.
Okay, so this is the trader. You can see on the left-hand side what he has for sale. And some of this stuff is pretty good quality. Ooh, man, I can even get a crossbow from him, except for I don't have any money at the moment. Night vision goggles would be good. We'll definitely want those. I'll explain why those are important in a little while. So, yeah, oh, we hear our first zombie outside, too. Okay, so obviously I don't have any money. You know what I might do, though? I might actually just sell these gun parts to him right now, because they're just not really useful to me at the moment. Later on, we definitely will be making guns and repairing them and so forth, but at this point, it's too soon in the game for that. So I'm just going to sell those and get a little bit of coinage from him.
Much obliged, stranger.
Okay, now, one of the things the game will let you do is it'll let you loot the trader. You can't destroy anything in his base, but you can loot anything, any containers. Oh my gosh, that the fence is missing. I better, whoops, sorry about that. I better stay crouched because I don't want those zombies to see me. That's weird. Normally there should be a chain link fence there like there is on that side. Okay. We'll take a look in these cars and see what there is. Absolutely nothing. We'll check each one of these little storage units to see if there's anything lootable, or sometimes you can find like forges or chemistry stations or workbenches that actually work. Most of the time when you find them out in the world, like that workbench over there, they are destroyed, it says. So they're just a loot container that you can get stuff out of, but you can't actually use it. So we're just going to go through and take a look and see what's in each one of these. Oh, there's a forge. Oh, good, good. Okay, so this is actually a working forge. This is actually a pretty nice find this early in the game. So what I'm actually going to do then is I'm going to put a little bit of wood in there, and I'm going to throw this iron in. Actually, you know what? I'm going to keep my wood. I'll put the coal in there. And we'll just smelt this iron down. And we could also feed lead and brass, all these other materials into the forge. So what happens is you feed the raw material into the forge, and then you accumulate the resource, in this case iron, and then you go over here and you can make different things, and then it'll take a certain amount of iron or brass or lead or whatever it happens to be. We also got some cowboy boots. This is pretty decent armor. However, I'm going to need leather. Well, now let's go ahead and put them on, because it gives us a little more armor than the plant fiber shoes. Let's scrap those, get a couple fibers back. Okay, so that's good. Knowing that there's a forge here, we probably are going to stick fairly close by the trader so we can use that until we get to the point where we can make our own forge. So I can't break anything in here because everything is protected inside the trader. All I can do is loot. Okay, here's a chem station, but it's destroyed. Oh, that's too bad. Ooh, that's good though. Vitamins are good. They help your wellness and help you get rid of dysentery. Kind of like the goldenrod tea, but I'm assuming probably a little better. Don't really know that for sure. And this is a cement mixer, but it's also destroyed. Oh wow, 30 concrete mix. Well, definitely going to need that later on, but there's not really anything I can do with it right now. Well, I'll just grab it for now. We'll be making concrete later in the game when we start building our base. Gunpowder, same thing. Gunpowder is useful, but it's just not really useful to us at this point. So is duct tape. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to put the things that I don't really need right now in here. I do want to keep that jar with me. I think I'll put my land claim in there for now too. That's for PvP. Speaking of which, I might at some point have some of my friends come on the server as guests for some episodes. We haven't really worked that out yet, but it's a possibility. And we might do some PvP if that happens, so I definitely want to hang on to the land claim block. If I wasn't doing that, I would actually scrap it and get some iron back from it, but... Oh, glue. Okay, glue's useful. We'll just loot all of these containers, see if we can find some food or water. We need both of those things, of course. Like most survival games, 7 Days to Die is very important that you manage your food and water. You don't want to run out of those things or bad things start to happen to you. We got crutch there. Another jar, that's useful. And let's see what's in the toilet. And we have poop in the toilet. How unexpected. Okay. Poop is actually useful. In fact, I think it's fairly safe to say that just about everything in this game is useful for something. And of course, we can use poop. Where's that guy at? Okay. For fertilizer, to make fertilizer later on. But we need a chemistry bench for that. And it's going to be quite some time before we're ready to do that. Alright, so this zombie has detected me. But he can't get to me because I'm inside the fortress. So let's go ahead and head up here and see, or rather finish looting this place. Padlock, that's useful for mini bike later on. Ooh, a gun. Wow, okay, that's a good find early on. It's not very good quality, but hey. I got 18 rounds in total. Alright, great. If I get into an emergency situation, that might just save my life. So we will hang on to it for now. Okay, pipe's good. We need that to make a forge. We will soon be finding a more permanent location for our base, and then one of the first things we'll do is make a forge. And we need pipes to do that. Alright, so we've looted this entire place. We got Dingaling here wanting to eat us, but we're going to leave him behind, and we're going to sneak out this other way. Or we're going to try to anyway. Not that it's much safer over here, my goodness. Yikes. Okay. Now, if you're a new player, or rather a new viewer to this game, you might be wondering, well, why don't you just stay and make your first base right here in the trader's fort? It's already fortified. Well, the answer to that is that the game will not let me. So what happens is at nighttime, it will kick me out. Excuse me. So you can't, unfortunately, you can't stay in the trader base at night, which means then, of course, that it's not viable as a fort. All right, I'm going to try and sneak out here. You know what I need to be doing, though, is making more spikes. This is a little bit of a hairy situation because I got Dingaling over there at the door, and then I've got all these guys out here. I got to be really sneaky here. Tell you what, I'm going to go back and see if Dingaling left and is not standing at the door yet. No, he's still hitting on the door. Okay. I'll tell you what I could do. Nah, that's not going to work either. Alright. So we're just going to take our chances and try and escape over here without them detecting us, so we can be on our way. Our goal here is to find a town. Find a town that we can start our first base in. Oh, come on, turn the other way. Don't be looking over here. Nothing to see here. Alright, we're going to sneak off this way. So as soon as I get to a little more distance between the zombies, let's go ahead and stop and kind of assess our situation here. So we'll bring up our map, and this is basically what we have uncovered so far. It looks like to the north of us is prairie biome, and that's not a bad place to go. It can get a little hot there, but you can also find corn there. Or we could go south. Now these little trails here usually lead to a destination, a POI, or a point of interest, which can be a building, it can be a campsite, it could be a cave, cemetery, those sorts of things. But I think what I would like to do is I'd like to kind of maybe stay in the woods just so I have a little bit of cover. And let's maybe work our way to the south and see what we find, okay? And all along the way, of course, we're going to... That's not south, old guy, that's north, right? Okay. All along the way, what we're going to do is we're going to chop wood and make spikes and pick up resources and see what kind of cool things we can come across. All the while trying to avoid zombies as much as possible and making wood spikes. Now, don't worry. We definitely will be fighting the zombies. I'm just being a chicken for the very early part of the game because, you know, I'm not very strong right now. One of the things about the insane setting in this game is that the zombies basically hit you for 175% of normal, and you hit them for 25% of the normal damage. So as you can imagine, that makes things extremely difficult. Now, we will get to a point where that's not going to be as big of a deal because we're going to have good weapons, we're going to have a lot more health, that sort of thing. But at this point, I just want to try, for the most part, and avoid these guys and not engage them if I can help it. So yeah, the old guy is a chicken right now, but we won't always be a chicken. I am glad that I found that gun, but I'm going to probably save that for extremely dangerous situations, like dogs, for example. This game has dogs, it has wolves, dire wolves. In addition to the zombies, it's got bears and zombie bears. It's got buzzards, and all of those things want to eat you. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do, folks, is I'm going to go ahead and just continue to work my way to the south. And we're going to go ahead and put some time lapse on and some music for you. And if and when anything cool happens, I will definitely stop the music and bring you back. Otherwise, I will see you here as soon as something interesting takes place. Okay, we have found a cave. And so what we're going to do is we're going to try and get into that cave and see what's inside. There's usually some worthwhile things in these caves. We just have to find a way down that's not going to break our leg, which I'm not really spotting. If I had a shovel, I could just dig my way down, and we might have to actually make a stone shovel and do that. But I don't want to jump because you can definitely break your leg or even just sprain your ankle in the game, and of course, as you can imagine, that'll slow you down. But there's mushrooms inside of there. There's going to be some loot of some sort. There might even be a munitions crate, which usually has high-end weaponry. So let's see here. How should we handle this? What we could do is... how much wood do I have? See, I don't have very much wood. I should make some frames. can make 9 frames. Oh, you know what else I'm going to do, folks, is before I go down there, I'm going to move away just a little ways and put my bedroll down. So that way if things go south, we can respawn back at the bedroll instead of in some random location. Oh boy. We don't want to tangle with her. But I also don't want to put the bedroll too close to the cave either. So let's go ahead and kind of move off over this way. Where did she go? There she is. So I think what I'm going to do is... Oh, we've been spotted. Where? Where is he? Somebody spotted us, but I don't know where he's at. That usually means it's a crawler. Yeah, there he is. Okay. Let's go ahead and put this guy out of our misery. Oh, nice shot there, old guy. These guys, you want to try and wait till their head gets over, which I'm doing a terrible job of, by the way. There we go. That was a headshot. Oh, I hear a wolf too. We don't want to tangle with him. Oh, come on! That went right through his head. There we go. And a hooded sweatshirt. We will take that. Not something we want to wear in the desert, but it'll be useful in the colder environments. Oh, the other thing I'm going to do, too, is I'm going to go ahead and actually harvest this zombie. And the reason that I'm doing this is because what it'll do is it'll level my blade skill. Later on in the game, I intend to use a machete, and so this will help me get that skill leveled up. Also, you can get gross materials off the zombies that, again, like I said, are useful. You know, you can get bones for making bone shivs and glue. You can get fat that you can use for various things, and you can get rotten meat, which you can use to make fertilizer. So, like I said, everything pretty much in the game is useful in some way. A lot of times, though, you'll probably see me throw that stuff out just because it's not a high priority. And you have... What in the heck is that? Oh, that's the wolf. Yeah, we don't want to mess with the wolf. He'll ruin our day, for sure. So let's move out over this way. I'm going to make a chest. We still have those zombies up there. So we got the wolf over there. Danger all around. That's the way this game goes. So I think what we'll do is... Okay, yeah, instead of using the chest, I'm going to keep that. I'm going to put all this stuff that I'll want later in here. Yeah, I'm gonna... It's not likely that I'm gonna use the gun in the cave. We want the hide for leather, and let's put 1 water in there. We'll keep 1 water on our toolbar. The rest of this stuff won't be the end of the world if we lose it. Get rid of that altogether. Okay, so And I hope that wolf keeps his distance. What we're going to do is we're going to try and drop down in here. Hopefully we won't break our leg. If we do, we have a splint though. But we just don't want that to happen in the first place, because even with the splint we'll be running slower. I probably, what I should do is I probably should make a stone shovel. So what we'll do is we'll kind of dig. I'm thinking maybe over. Well, it just isn't really a good spot. Let's go over here. Oh, darn it, that wolf's still there. Tell you what, let's try this. We're just gonna drop there. Okay, that's good. We'll just make a little spot that we can quickly jump back out of once we're done in the cave. I'm hoping we're going to find something good in that cave. Alright, so that's our escape path. Now let's sneak down here. And is that iron? Ooh, I think it is. Wow. Okay. And we might be coming back here later with a pick and getting that. Okay, so we're going to break down this door. It's going to take us a little while because we only have a stone axe, but not too terribly long. Some of these caves have like reinforced steel bunker doors on them, and those take forever to break down. Yeah, you just stay up there, Mr. Wolf. Make a new axe. Scrap this one. So this video is starting to run a little longer than I had planned. So what we'll do is we'll do this cave, and then we'll probably wrap it up for episode 1 after the cave's done. And then we'll come back in episode 2 and start looking for a town. Almost there, folks. Almost there. Good. Okay. So let's put the shovel there, and I don't need the dirt right now. I'm gonna, well, yeah, let's just put that there too. Into the cave. Now, if you do go in these caves, be careful, because sometimes these stalactites can fall on you. The other thing about the stalactites, though, is that you can get nitrate, potassium nitrate from them, which we're going to need for a few things later on. All right, so we have some sleepers in here. There's a zombie right there. And the way that Alpha 16 works, oh, we've got 3 zombies in there, is that when you go into a building, or in this case a cave, there's going to be zombies that are asleep or, you know, hibernating or in some kind of a dormant state. And what you want to do then is you want to either try and kill them. If you can get a sneak attack on them while they're still asleep, you'll get bonus damage. Or you want to try and sneak around them and not wake them up. And sometimes you can do that, sometimes you can't. And I'm telling you right now, this is extremely dangerous. I don't think that I have enough firepower at this point, at this very early stage in the game, to kill these guys, even with a sneak attack. So our strategy is that we're going to try and sneak around them and get the stuff out of the cave that we want. And if we wake them up, then we're basically going to run and try and get away from them. And we might not make it, but if that happens, then it happens. And you know what I forgot to do? Doggone it, old guy, you dumb dummy. I forgot to put my bedroll down by the trash bag up there. We got to do that, folks, because if we don't and we die, then we're going to spawn and God knows who knows where. So let's head back up here. Sorry about that. I should have put that down earlier, but I'm an old guy and I forget stuff sometimes. This area is hot, and I'll tell you what. Okay, so let's put this down. So that way if we die, we respawn there. And then we'll head back down into the cave. Now, a little later on in the game, when we go into these... Oh, man. The game just spawned her right there. That's Hacks game. All right, let me talk about one other thing before we proceed. With the sleepers, when you go into one of these places, if you don't clear them all out, then the game will respawn them. If you go into a building or a cave or whatever and you zerg it, in other words, you just go in and you start killing them left and right, if you don't kill them all, the game will respawn them. So that's what happened here. I entered this place and then I left it again, and then it just respawned a new sleeper. And she just happens to be right in the path too that I need to go. So this is really hairy. The other bad thing is this is a cheerleader zombie and they're very fast. So wish me luck, folks. Wish me luck. I don't know if the old guy's going to survive this. We'll see how it goes. We're going to be really quiet. We're going to stay sneaking. And I want to grab all these mushrooms because they're actually a pretty decent food source. Now, this here is a crate that has something inside of it. We got to break the crate first. And I'm hoping that when I do that, I don't wake these guys up. Here we go. Oh boy, that was scary. Trash compactor. Oh, hey, it had food in it. Can't complain about that. We got another zombie on the surface walking around. Okay, we'll just go down here as quietly as possible. Pick these mushrooms. Very, very quiet. Okay, I'm going to have to go around in front of this guy. I hope you guys can see my screen okay. There's a zombie right there, there's one right up there, and then there's one right there. So they're very close to me. So far, so good. Okay, let's break this crate and see if we can... This is hairy. Gun store box. Well, look at that. Shotgun and shotgun ammo. Okay. Can we... I don't know. I would pick that chair up and scrap it, but it's so close to him that I don't think I'm going to mess with that. Now, if you're new to the game, you might be thinking, Score, he just found a shotgun. Yeah, I did, but unfortunately... if you don't have skills in shotguns, oh man, there's a guy right there. In this game, they don't really do a whole lot of damage. So, I mean, it's better than slapping him in the face, but it's not going to be that great. Okay, here we go. We're going to try and break this one open and see if we can do it without these guys waking up. Sound is kind of weird in the game because... not a gun store box. Okay, we got some rifle and shotgun parts. There are certain types of sound that will just that will wake them up, and then there's other types of sound that you would think would wake them up, but doesn't necessarily, and that's one example of that. Okay, and I probably better not mess with that trash. I'm pushing my luck here as it is. So let's get these mushrooms here. Okay, we're going to go back around the way we came. Being very quiet. I think I'll take that candle too. Do I want that candle as well? Nah, let's not mess with it. Okay. And then we're going to sneak by this cheerleader. Very quiet. She is dangerous. Okay. So let's move out of the cave. Back up through our little escape path here. Where's that other zombie? She's around somewhere. Alright, we're going to pick up the bedroll. We're going to get all of our stuff out of here. At least all the really good stuff. Alright. Now comes the point in the game where you have to do inventory management, which we'll be doing for the whole rest of the game. So there's certain things that are higher priority than others at this point. Definitely going to take all the food. The paper is not really a high priority. The glass jars are. I want to keep my coins with me. I don't want to get rid of the stone arrows. Well, you know what? We can make more later. So let's get rid of the stone arrows. Don't need the stone shovel anymore. Don't really need the padlock. We want to keep those. We'll take those cans. The chest is very easy to make, so yeah, we'll leave all this stuff for later. You know what? Actually, I have no need for glue right now, so I'll take those arrows back. Good. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to go ahead and stop the video here. And like I said, when we come back for episode 2, we will set out and see if we can find ourselves a town to set up our first base in. So until then, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in episode 2.